So if you cannot hear my voice or if you want me to turn up the volume, please feel free to tell me, okay?
Yes, teacher.
Hello, welcome. My name is Sophia, and I'm the founder of Eureka Online Private Tutoring and We Care, which is a non-profit organization. So before we do anything, as usual, whenever I teach or whenever I share something with people, I usually ask them to do something, which is simple. Please empty your cup. So that is removing our ego, because ego is the most dangerous enemy in all learning. That is what I believe. Because if you go anywhere or if you learn something with a cup full of something, and it will be like the picture in this you can see this slide. It will be like if I pour something, it would just overflow. So I like to humbly request everyone to empty your cup so that we can fill it with so many things that we are going to learn today. So thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. And let's move on. Today's topic is about PPHMR. That's how I'm going to address this. But in a way, this is simple. Pictures help me remember. So that's my topic today. So what is it about, right? As usual, in this session, I'm going to cover things which are related to multiple intelligences and which will talk about VAK and about learner autonomy and independent learning, whole brain learning, and neuroplasticity, which will be brain-based learning. And also, of course, since we are in the setting to highlight English language, so here we are going to focus on speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So at the end of this session, I'm going to explain to you how these things are interconnected and how we can apply these principles and messages in our own life and in our own learning. So let's see. As usual, I'm going to start, as I said, I'm going to include most of the things which are related to our amazing brain and what it can do and how it helps us in learning. I have been an English teacher for so long. However, there is something that I'm more interested, which is about learning about the brain. And this is something that I have decided to pursue in the future as well. So as an English teacher and who is very enthusiastic about learning about how the brain works, I would like to combine these so that we can make use of the most of, we can make the most out of our brain power. So that's something that I'm going to do. So let's start. There are some common complaints in learning vocabularies, like English vocabularies, and also something that you are reading, whatever it is that you are reading, or something new that you are going to acquire. Complain like, okay, I've just finished reading, but now I've forgotten. I have to relearn it. And then you forget and you feel frustrated, and to the point that you give up your learning completely. So at some point, we may have experienced this in our life. However, I want to tell you, it's okay. It's a part of learning. Yes, correct. We learn, we forget. And it's also a part of our brain mechanism, which is doing this job as well. So the message that I like to give you all today is that, sometimes when we have these things like, I have to learn a lot of things, the time is so limited, I don't have enough time. I have read this book so many times, but I cannot grasp the concept, the main concept of the book, or I have forgotten all the vocabularies that I've learned. I don't know how to use them. I don't know how to remember them. And then later on, we have the fear of mastering even vocabularies, or even sometimes learning in general. We are discouraged because it's like it is out of our control. We cannot do anything. Learning is so difficult. Learning is so challenging, and we want to give up even, right? So if you have this kind of experience, or if you experienced it before, or if there are people around you who are experiencing this, there is still hope. That's what I want to say. We still have hope. when it comes to learning. And also, especially, you know, vocabularies and also remembering the main ideas of the things that we have finished reading. So what is this hope, right? What is this hope? And how can we know that there is still hope? And how can we know that we are going to learn and remember, right? So there are two types of memorization methods in general. One is called active memorization, another one is passive memorization. So when you look at this picture, what do you see? In the active memorization column, you can see, you know, like a head, and there are certain things inside the head. It's like your brain is working with you to remember the things that you are learning. However, when you look at this side, as you see, right side, right, passive memorization. I have just uh, shown you some of the big words and then becoming smaller, because passive memorization usually does that to our brain, because it's like we are just taking in information in a linear way to the point that we don't, after we finish learning, after we finish doing something, we don't remember. So whenever you are asked to look at this column, the first thing that will attract you will be the color that I am using, the words, active memorization. You can see different colors that I have used here, and you can see the picture of the head. Inside the head, you can see so many different things, and that attract you, that gets your attention immediately. So that's how our brain works. Okay. So let's look at this by, excuse me. So let's look at this by looking at how our brain works. Let's say we are going to I have read so many books, and there are some books which focus on, you know, right brainers or for right brain learning, right brain reading, etc., right? However, for me personally, and also my experiment with my students, I think whole brain method really works when it comes to learning, rather than just focusing on left brain or right brain. Okay, so left brain, as you see, what it does is like we take in information in a linear way, in a sequential way, and we are logical, analytical. Of course, these skills are important, right? It doesn't mean that I'm not asking you not to use your left brain or just to use right brain. I'm asking you to ask both of your brains to cooperate, both parts of your brain to cooperate with you, so that you can learn better than before. So that's my intention here. Let's look at right brain. Right brain is all about creativity, imagination, you know, empathy, intuition, these stuff, right? But if we can synthesize both parts of the brain and learn, it is much better for us. So active memorization does all these things rather than passive memorization. For passive memorization, you just read a book, yep, in a, you know, very boring way. You just look at the book, you see sentences, very sequential, logical, right? However, if you do not ask your right brain to cooperate with you to remember what you are reading, it's not okay. But if you focus only on your right brain, your imagination, your, you know, your creativity, but you are not going to, how to say, you cannot going to perceive the patterns in what you are reading, then it cannot help you much as well. So that's why we need both parts of our brain to work for us so that we can learn better, right? Now I'm going to show you 4Rs. So what are they? Whenever we learn something, we do something. Let's say we are going to learn a new vocabulary, and then that vocabulary will register in our brain first, right? So only after this step we can remember, right? We cannot remember what we haven't registered in our brain. If we remember, it's easy for us to recall. And if we can recall, then it's easier for us to reuse it in our real life. So that is the 4Rs. So why I am explaining 4Rs to you, I will tell you more later, okay? Here we go. I want to start with 4 concepts of memory. So there are 4 concepts of memory. We'll start with association, okay? So what is association? Whenever we learn something, We learn to associate what we are learning with what we already know, right? Even though I said I know it already, you can leave it, but this is different, right? So for example, okay, what have I learned about active memorization? Maybe I learned about memorization at school and it's all about rote memorization. It didn't have any positive impact on my learning. It's okay, right? Only when we start learning and after that we are going to remember what we are learning. In this case, we have to personalize our learning. When we can personalize our learning, we remember it more. Our brain can retain that memory longer than something that we just finished reading, which is not related to us or which doesn't have anything to do with our own life. So that's why association is very important in remembering. That's the first concept. Okay, I'm going to show you something again. So my topic is eat the tomato, right? So what do you mean eat the tomato? Why do I have to eat the tomato, right? So here, I want you to look at this picture. I want you to remember, and I want you to start thinking about what you think it is about. All right. So when we look at something, we just see picture, and we are going to interpret it according to what we already know. All right. So for example, if there are people who just finished eating, let's say dinner, some tomato soup, then this can remind, oh, okay. So that looking at something, seeing a picture can take you back to the past where you had that similar experience with the things that you are seeing. That's how amazing our brain is. So here in this picture too, you can see different things. Like this can be if there is a child who is looking at this picture, he or she will start noticing the game, right? If there are also people who love to exercise, then they will notice the first thing, which is healthy lifestyle. If there are some people who love to be in nature, then the landscape picture here will attract them more. And if there are people who have just finished having a shower, then this shower, the picture where, looks like someone is showering, that will remind them of something that they have finished doing. There are people who love reading in this room, and when they look at this picture, the first thing that will attract them will be the books that they are seeing. So our brain works when we see pictures. That's why pictures can help us remember. So what I mean pictures is here, it can be two things. You actually draw pictures and remember, or you remember it in your head. Your brain can create images of the past where things that you have seen before, right? Things that you have done before. So that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about, pictures. All right. So now let's look at this picture. I'm going to tell you a story. All right. So when you look at this, it doesn't have, it looks like, okay, it's a bunch of pictures. She just put them a bunch of pictures and just show them, maybe, right? However, now I'm going to tell you a story. Let's look at this one. Let's see it as a bus, right? A bus driver. Let's say a bus driver, a school bus. So a bus driver's job is for the safety of his passengers, right? So here he needs to concentrate on driving, right? So when he is driving, if his mind wanders, or if he doesn't have enough sleep, or if he cannot focus on what he is doing, he is going to put the whole people in the whole bus in danger. That's why he needs to concentrate. So when we are concentrating, some parts of our brain start working. However, let's look at this picture, right? Let's say you love painting. You start painting and you start thinking of ideas on how to paint, or you start reading, and reading can take you to, different places that you want to explore, right? When you are listening to music, it can activate your parts of your brain and makes you feel like you enjoy what you are doing right now, right? The same is true for doing exercise and also doing something that you love to do. So that's the story of this picture. This picture, a bus driver is driving, but he needs to focus on what he is doing. This part of the picture, someone is like daydreaming, doing something, and then the mind just wanders, right? and then all of the ideas just come in. So this is the daydreaming mode. This is the, focus mode. And when you are daydreaming, like I said, some parts of your brain, they are activated. And when you are focusing on something, some parts of your brain are activated as well, not the same. So, okay, so what does it have to do with eating the tomato? Nothing to do with eating the tomato, just giving you the name. Sometimes when we use different things, however we give a name, it's easier for us to remember. That's what I want you to use, association. What do we use tomatoes for, right? We eat them, we cook, we use them in our cooking, right? So some will remember like ketchup, right? So that's the association that I'm using now. Okay, so let's say, okay, hey, how can I remember what you are telling us? You have been telling us a lot about the brain and stuff, and focus mode, and then, diffuse mode, daydreaming mode. I'm so confused. You don't need to remember anything. What I have said so far, if you can remember this picture, left brain, right brain, then it will come back to you. And if you can remember the picture, association here, like connection, right? Like forming, it's actually like when we start associating or when we start absorbing, our brain start, connecting. It's like connecting all the dots. That's what I am doing here. And if you can remember the picture, and also my story about the bus driver, a bus driver needs to focus on what he's doing. But when you are enjoying yourself, your thoughts, your mind wanders, you can think about a million things, right? So that if you remember this story, that is what I have been using pictures to help you remember. Let's say I'm activating your right part of the brain. Now we are moving on to the left part of the brain, which is I'm going to explain to you about, okay, what is focus mode? You pay attention, your specific parts of the brain working, and diffuse mode is what? What are you talking about? Okay, do you remember that picture with D? And when you are relaxed and free, solutions come to you easily, right? When I am having a shower, when I'm having a bath, for me personally, millions of ideas come to me, and I actually have to write them down right after I finish having a bath. So that's the diffuse mode that we are talking about. You are not thinking about anything in particular, but you are just enjoying the present moment, and yet your mind is also wandering, and you are thinking about a lot of things, right? And in that situation, you become creative, imaginative. You can connect different ideas together. Okay, so if you can remember this, I'm using just, you can look at this slide, right? You can just see sentences written in a linear way. That's the left brain. Your left brain is now being activated. And if you can use sentences with the pictures that I've shown, you synthesize both parts, then you remember this analogy, eat the tomato. So that's what I call association. Okay, so this is diffuse mode, things that you can do to put you in the diffuse mode where you can be creative, imaginative. Okay, so that will come to our next topic, which is visualization. I have put in my my painting, which is not very beautiful, but I love to use it as well because I want to tell you something about, let's say if I say waterfall, close your eyes and visualize what is in your mind's eye, what's your waterfall look like. So this is my waterfall, right? So whenever, let's say we are going to teach a kid, right, the vocabulary waterfall, and if they don't have any idea about the waterfall, we can show them a video and show it to them. This is the waterfall, waterfalling from the high place to the low place, etc. We explain it to them. Okay, guys, now why don't you visualize your own waterfall, and why don't you put it on paper and actually draw it. And when you are drawing, I want you to remember the thing that you are drawing is called waterfall. So waterfall, then we can use the association to teach the kid water and fall, just one word. Okay, so that way the kid can start visualization when he starts drawing, or maybe he or she looks at a picture, right, and remembering it. So the 4 R's, right, they work now. The kid starts registering, remembering, recalling, and then later on, let's say whenever For example, they see a similar event like water falling from a high place, even though it is not a waterfall. They will think like, oh, that is quite similar to a waterfall that you taught us the other day. So they remember it, they can associate it now, they can visualize it, they can create it. So that's what memory does. So if we can make use of the visualization association whenever we do, whenever we read, whenever we learn, even when we watch a video, right, we can remember more. And especially if we can personalize our experience, it will last longer. So that's visualization. And the next concept is called imagination. Okay, so imagination is also the work of our right. So whenever we read something, we start imagining, and then we start associating, and we start visualizing what we are reading with what we already know, that is association. And then we start imagining, and we even make use of our present experience for our future. So that way we become very imaginative, and then we become very creative in what we are doing. And also when we are imagining, and if we let's say we are reading a book and it's about something that is very interesting, and we start imagining ourselves as the character, the main character of the book that we are reading, and we start feeling what she is feeling, we start experiencing what she is experiencing. That way we use imagination, visualization, and we start associating with ourselves, and we start experiencing it. That way, whenever we see that book, we remember, oh, I remember that book. It makes me feel this way. It makes me think like this, like the character. So that's the imagination. And then the last concept. Oh, sorry, my slide. Last one is organization. Okay, now we can associate, we can remember, we can recall, we can imagine, we can visualize. Okay, how are we going to put everything we know? How are we going to organize all the information that we have absorbed? How can we put them in our brain, right? So there is a solution to organize. I have a method, but I call it chunk the pizza. So if you can remember chunk the pizza, every time you read something, or you are going to explain a story to a kid, or you are going to teach someone about something, I want you to remember this topic. So every time you see pizza, you will remember today where you are learning about chunk the pizza. Chunk mean, piece of information. So you can, as you can see in this slide, you can see different slices of pizza, right? Different chunks. Let's call them different chunks. And among these chunks, there are certain chunks which can be put under one group. For example, bacon, right? Shrimp, salami, they can be put under, let's say, meat. And chili pepper, mushroom, vegetarian, they can be put under, vegetables. And for mozzarella, it's a cheese, so you can put it under dairy, right? So if we have to remember this whole slide, all we need to remember is only 3 chunks. Pizza, meat. We have different types of pizza made of meat, and then vegetables and some dairy products. So that way we remember the information. This is just my example, right? So if we chunk up, right? If we try to remember something, if we chunk it up, it's like, the information is there is less information for us to access. But if we chunk it down, there will be more information. So that's how we remember things in general. For example, let's say in this session, I talk about different things, right? But the chunk up version that I'm presenting you is PPHMR. But what are the chunk down things that I just finished talking about? I talk about left brain, right brain, active memorization, and I talk about 4 different types of memory concepts, and also 4 R's. And also I talk about tomato and pizza as well, right? So this is how we are going to organize all the information that we are absorbing right now in our brain. So that is the organization. So what is your point? You are talking so much. My point is, remember different things in terms of chunks. So if you remember these chunks in pictures, or you can visualize them, you can associate with what you already know, or you can imagine what you are going to do, then your memory will become stronger, right? So, okay, so this is I just show you the pictures of pizza. Now we are moving on to that is right brain activated. Remember it that way. Now we are moving on to the next slide, which is your left brain will help you to cooperate with you. Only then left and right, they will communicate with each other, and then they will remember what they are learning, right? It's about, rote memory, right? So if we remember in our school system when we were younger, we had to learn everything by heart. And that's we practice rote memorization, and it has a lot of drawbacks like no personalization, no association. We just try to put everything inside our head. It's like we will remember everything, but it's not, sadly, right? It doesn't want that way. Our brain doesn't want that way. What we try to memorize for just for a short time, it just goes into the short term memory, and then that information just disappears. It doesn't go into our long term memory. Now, if you can use the methods that I'm teaching you, you can transport what you are learning from short term memory to your long term memory, so that whenever you hear something you can associate, and then you can imagine, you can visualize, you can organize, and then you can present it to other people in a way that they can remember. So for teachers, if teachers can use this whenever they teach, they don't need to refer to the book like all the time. For students, when they are learning, if they can remember it this way, it will be very, very easier and very fun for them to learn. Okay, so let me say it again. Today we have learned association, visualization, imagination, and organization, right? For us as well. So now, if you are new to the concept of neuroplasticity, I'd like to explain it to you some more. But if you already know, please listen to it one more time. It's like you can associate what you have known with what I'm going to tell you now, and you can recreate a new piece of learning for yourself, right? So the methods that I'm teaching you, uh, you can use it right away. But if you want to see the benefits, if you want the benefits to manifest in your real life, you need 3 P's here: preparation, practice, and perseverance. So with anything that we do, we need to have the growth mindset, right? Skills and abilities grow with practice. So that's the basic foundation of growth mindset. If you feel like, okay, I'm not quite good at visualization, how do I do that? Easy. Practice, right? Prepare and then persevere. Do it, right? Until you get it. So to be an expert in something, to be very good in something, we need 3 P's. Everything we do, we need 3 P's. Without 3 P's, it's not very easy for us to go down the road, right? So this is like neuroplasticity is actually learning changes the brain structure. So according to neuroscience, they say that learning changes our brain structure. So how does it change? Okay, let's see. How does it change? It changes like this. So what is neuroplasticity? Let me tell you that. So it's like, whenever we learn something in our brain, all of the neurons, they start making connection to form a neural network. That is called neural network. So there are a lot of brain cells in our brain and a lot of neural networks as well. Some of the neural networks, meaning some of the learning from the past, if they are not necessary or if we don't use them very often, the brain just prune them back, meaning uh, that is that the connection is not strong, and it's like that network has stopped working, right? So that way we are what we experience in our life, people in our environment, and how we tell ourselves, our self-talk, these are all working together and changing our brain physically inside. So imagine what we think, what we do, and people we meet, and books that we read, and movies that we watch. They are all helping us to change the brain structure. So especially learning. So if you use active learning, your brain will be active and there will be new neural networks forming, all right? However, if you they start forming, but the neural network is not strong yet, and if you don't continue using it, then you know it soon the brain will prune them back. So it will not be useful for you. So whatever you do, remember to do 3P. Only then you'll be able to remember and your neural network will become stronger. So that is the neuroplasticity just in, summary. Okay, now I want to talk about FBN, formation of brains, neural pathways. So I usually, whenever I teach this, I usually teach people, we are the not FBI agents, we are the FBN agents, meaning we have to constantly check in with ourselves, not constantly, maybe 3 or 4 times a day. Okay, what am I thinking? Why do I feel this way? If you are thinking hopeful thoughts, maybe you are also helping your brain structure is changing inside because of the thoughts that you are thinking. However, if you are thinking hurtful thoughts like, oh, I'm stupid, I'm so old, I cannot learn anything, there is no time for me, I don't have time, I'm so busy, I can't learn anything, right? So that is the hurtful thoughts that you are thinking. So whichever thoughts that you are thinking, your brain is changing, your brain is responding to what you are thinking. Okay, so that is something that I want to share because it's important when we teach people, right? So when we start teaching people, we will, if we what we say and how we teach them will have a great impact on how they are going to develop. So this is very, very important, right? So if we always think hurtful thoughts, and when we associate with children or our students or learners in general, we will also pass on hurtful thoughts, pass on to them, right? So they will also have this habit, and their brain structure will be, they are hurting their brain, and these hurtful thoughts will form a strong neural network where they feel like they are not enough. But if we ourselves think hopeful thoughts and we help our students with what we are thinking and also what they are thinking, we guide them, we mentor them, then they can also start forming hopeful neural networks, which can help them in learning. So that way, learning becomes fun, right? Okay, so I've been talking a lot about different things of PPHMR, right? So these are the things that I have finished discussing, and let's see how, if, like I said, if learning is fun, and if learners can start thinking about hopeful thoughts, and if we can explain to them with pictures and let them imagine, they are putting, when they start thinking hurtful thoughts, it's like they are, they are stabbing their own brain. And when they start thinking their hopeful thoughts, it's like they are growing, beautiful flowers in the garden. So that way they can imagine it, they can picture it, they can understand it, they can associate with what we are teaching them, so that they will see learning as something, pleasurable. It's not, oh, okay, learning, it's fun, we can use pictures, oh, we can imagine, we can visualize, we can organize them. And even the method of organizing is a fun way to do. That way our brain starts releasing a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine gives you, oh, this is so fun, I love to do more. So our job as a teacher is to help our students to find learning fun and pleasurable. Only then they will be more interested and we can take them to the higher level of learning. That's what I want to say about dopamine and the brain. And next is, okay, so you have been talking a lot about the brain. So what about us? We are teaching English. How can we use them? Right? How can we use your PPH and HMR in our own teaching? Of course you can. Whenever you do the reading, right? If you can start helping students imagine, organize their learning points, and start visualizing and helping them helping them associate with what they already know and what they want to do and their experience are in their experiences and from those around them. we can practice it in reading, we can do it in speaking, we can do it in writing, we can do it in listening, and we can even have an active discussion where we will practice both listening and speaking skill in English, and at the same time helping them with their thought process, their thinking process, right? So that way they will start owning their own learning. They are like, okay, yes, this is so fun, I can do it. And it will boost their confidence. They will become more independent. And when they start learning these things and they become very good at it, they use 3 Ps, remember? Neuroplasticity. They use these and they become very good at it, and they can start cooperating with other people, and they can achieve interdependent learning. Maybe they can even work in small groups, and some people who know the methods, they can be a leader and start taking charge of their own learning, right? So that's how we can link PPHMR to our teaching English setting. So here, what I'm showing you is if they become very good with learning and they become independent, interdependent, it will also help them more with reading, speaking, listening, writing, and they will participate more in discussion. They will not feel shy, and they will understand how to learn, and they will know their their input is value, etc. That way they can become more independent in their learning as well. So that is English learning setting and our the essential tool, which is MI, right? So how does it meet? How does PPHMR meet MI as well, right? Multiple intelligences. Of course, if you start associating, you will know your own experience. You will start analyzing. You will know yourself more. And if you use the 4 methods, the 4 memory concepts, with people around you, you will start understanding how to associate with them, and etc. And you can start, writing that will help you with your word smart, logic smart, picture smart, body smart, music smart. So these are all related. That's why I don't usually accept like you're going to use this framework only in this place. No, it's not. It doesn't work that way. If we can connect and if we can synthesize different topics and different things together, we can achieve, even a higher learning purpose. So now is the time to be a Sherlock. I call this Sherlocking, right? Now that you have finished learning about the methods of memory and how we can teach students in general and how we can learn things in general by ourselves, because even though we are teachers, we require to learn more and more because it's our job to share and to impart what we know with people we are dealing with, sorry, not people we are teaching. Yeah. So now is we become a Sherlock. Okay, who can use this PPHMR? What is it about? How will you use it? Where are you going to use it? Why do we need to use it? And how will you use it? And when will you use it? What if you can change what I'm teaching you with something that you already know and recreate, so that you can help? How are you going to help people with what you know by adding your own creativity? So that is, we become Sherlock, but we can't become Sherlock like that. We have to answer some of the questions.
Okay, so can you hear me? Yes, so here is the first question is, what have I learned today that can be used in my own teaching and learning? So can someone in this group, any teachers, can help me answer that? Who would like to answer it? I would like to ask for a volunteer to answer this question. Anyone? Okay. Anyone? Just help us hear out your opinion. It can be short. It can be, it doesn't have to be very long. I just want to know what you have learned today and how are you going to use it in your, if you are a teacher, how are you going to use it in your teaching, And if you are a student, how are you going to use it in your learning? Just a small point. Anyone? Any volunteer? I love to hear someone talking.
Yes, teacher. Sophia.
Okay,
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yes. Firstly, I would like to thank you very much for a very interesting topic.
You're
Yes.
welcome. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
So today I have learned a lot, especially about how brain works.
okay.
Yes, it's very useful for teaching and learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that kind, are you a teacher? Are you a
Yes,
teacher
yes,
too?
I am.
Okay. Can I call you teacher? That is that okay?
Yes, yes, okay.
Okay. So, how are you going to? Which part of the teaching that I have shared with you today that you want to use with your student? Can you tell us?
Yes, mainly I want to use four concept of memory.
All
Yes, I
concepts of
like that point. Yes, yeah, association, organization, imagination, visualization. Yes,
okay.
these concepts are very useful for teaching. I think not only teaching for my self learning.
Okay. Thank you so much. You remember them all.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
thanks a lot.
Thank you for answering my question too, teacher. That. Thank you.
Thank you.
And here we go with the next question.
Okay, whatever I learned today that can be used in my own teaching and learning, I want you to take a few minutes to write it down. And after that, we'll move on to the what is my
So
overall.
for this, you can rate it by yourself, right? If you are satisfied with your own learning today, you can give yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 9. And then I want
satisfaction of my own learning today is it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and you can explain why. And what do I want to learn more from the trainer, from me? What do you want to learn more?
So for that, I want to know maybe the brain concept can be a little bit unusual, or maybe not. Maybe not. I am not quite sure. So as a trainer, I want to know that the people that I'm sharing with, if I have to, maybe what do you want more from me? Like what kind of topics that are you interested in, and what do you want to hear more from me? Can any of the teachers in the room can share with me? Any volunteer again? Any teachers here?
Teacher, hello.
Yes, teacher Alice, right?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to learn more about from you. FBN, FBN,
You
teacher.
want to know more about
Yes,
FBN?
yes, yes. Because hopeful thoughts and
Thoughts.
hurtful thoughts. Yes, I want
Yeah.
to know about from you.
Like what you want to know the concept, or you want to know how it works, or what is it that you want to know? Can you
Yes. I didn't know that formations of brain neural pathways very well.
okay.
Yeah, that's why.
So do you want me to explain it to you now?
Teacher. But if you want, I will. But if
Okay.
you don't have time, it's okay, teacher.
It's okay. I can simply explain it to you, because whenever our brain works in an amazing way, like I said, whenever we start learning something, we have different neurons in our brain. So one neuron sends a message to another neuron, and this neuron sends a message to another neuron. That way they start forming a neural network in our brain. So whatever it is that we have learned, for example, we are, most of us are Myanmar, right? We learned Myanmar since we were young, and we also learn English. So Myanmar, that is the neural pathway. The Myanmar neural pathway is stronger. So whenever we think about something, we start thinking about it in Myanmar first, right? But for English, we are still learning. We try to acquire some more skills so that we will be very good in English. So that way, that neural network may not be as strong as what Myanmar neural network. So that is how the brain works. Everything that we learn, if it is something new, our brain starts forming a connection. That's what we call the neural network in the brain. Am I answering your question? Do you get it? Is that okay now?
Thank you, teacher.
Okay. So Excuse me?
Teacher.
Yes, who is a teacher Tuto Kai, right?
Yeah, I want to learn more the neurotransmitter from you.
Oh, we have different.
And more.
Okay, all right. That is something that you want to learn more from you and different neurotransmitters and how they are released in our brain, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you are saying? Okay, for that, we have to go deeper. So if you are interested in that, after this session, I can send you a book to your email. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, teacher Do.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, so we are almost done. I have a few
And
more.
3 valuable takeaways.
So I want to ask you 3 valuable takeaways from this session that now that the session is going to end and you are going home. I mean, you are already home. We are home, but I mean, we are going to virtually leave the classroom. So can you name 3 valuable takeaways from this session? Okay, anyone can answer this. What are they? I want to know if you can answer that.
Yes. Can I?
Oh, okay. Teacher Lin. Okay. Teacher Lin Linton and Teacher Kan Kin, right?
Yes,
Okay.
4 hours.
Oh, okay. Teacher Kan Kin first. 4 hours, you remember?
And another one is FVN.
FBN. Okay.
And another one is Heartful Thought N. So
Helpful.
Heartful Thought N. You're another one. Okay.
Okay.
So that is I got the takeaway from you.
Okay. Thank you
so
so
much.
much,
Thank you
Teacher
so much.
Kai.
Thank you,
Okay.
Aisha.
Okay. Thank you, teacher. And Teacher Lin, please.
Oh, I remember 4 concepts of memory.
Okay.
Four concepts of memory. I remember we're associating either potato, either tomato.
Potato is fine too. Okay, potato
Yes.
is fine. It's all right.
Yeah. Next one is organization. I remember well. Next one is Cheng the pizza.
Hang the
Cheng the
pizza.
pizza.
Okay. All the food.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
And then
Thank you, teacher Lin. Yes.
yeah, 3 P's. Yes.
3 P's. Yeah, 3 P's. That is very important in our daily life, right? Okay, thank you, teacher Lin.
Yeah.
Okay,
you.
From this session, what are they? Can you name them? Share what
so the last one. Now that you have learned something about memory, how the brain works, and you have learned about FBN 4 concepts. So how are you going to share with others in your community when you go back in your own community? How you are going to share, and can one volunteer let me know how you are going to use what you have learned today in your own community with people that you know? Okay, just if you are teaching kids, how are you going to share what you have learned with them like that?
Hello, can I again share?
Yes, sure, you can.
Yeah.
Teacher Kai. No.
Yes.
Oh no.
That kind, yes.
Oh, teacher that. Okay.
Okay, so as I am a teacher together, and we have formal discussion every week with my colleagues, so
Okay.
I can share the points
Okay.
that from this workshop in this discussion. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I am
Thank
glad
you.
that you already have a plan how to share what you have learned. Okay, so here I have something, and I have just created Facebook private group for this for everyone here, because if you want, you can join that. And actually, please wait. There is something left. Excuse me, I cannot. You can join that Facebook group, and if you want something or if you want to know more, you can be in touch with me. And here
with other people.
this is the Facebook page, my school page, and This is my email. Because the reason I'm sharing this with you all is if you are interested in learning how to learn, and if you are interested in how the brain works, and if you are interested and if you want to learn more about neuroplasticity, you can just email me, or you can just go to the Facebook group that I have created for everyone. And if you want, I can share all the books, all the resources with you if you want to learn more. Okay, so finally, I would like to say thank you so much everyone for your time and attention, because it's already late and everybody is already here listening to me, and I really appreciate that. And I'm so grateful for everyone attending this workshop. Thank you so much. If you have questions, you can ask me. If not, we can call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you, teacher. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, thank you so much.
Teacher.
See you.
Bye-bye, teacher. See you.
Thank you, teacher.